everybody, my name is Kevin Bowers, and I am one of the founding members of Liminal Learning, and I am lucky and happy to be sitting with two pioneers from the first quest and now the first year of Liminal Learning. That's Drew, and that is Saif. And thought it'd be a kind of a cool opportunity just to sort of talk about the kinds of experiences that they're having and that they've had, so that others that might be interested in liminal learning can get a little taste. So I'm just gonna, as a disembodied voice, just throw some things into the middle, and I'm gonna let these guys just take it for a ride and start talking. And at any moment, who knows, you might hear the disembodied voice come back and I'll pitch in. But for the most part, I would like to sort of hand the baton over to the pioneers. So I will start, though. Having had this experience in the summer of 2024, in July and August, we were in Algonquin Park together for a week, and subsequently we've been getting together close to once a week, talking online in the sort of the digital hub. And yeah, just if you guys could sort of take this idea of like any insights or people or moments or practices, experiences that you've had as a pioneer, as a liminal learner that sort of have stuck with you and feel worthy and important to share?
I don't know, in liminal learning it's a very enlightening experience because you escape a very busy life and just spend a week focusing on yourself and your wellness and yourself participating in community in a very healthy way. And I think it's interesting to see how you can feel when you dedicate all of your attention to just being very happy and healthy, and then trying to go back into your life and trying to integrate those feelings in. I don't know, mental health and wellness can be very quickly shunned aside and brushed off, but to live focusing on it for a week and then go back to life with that focus is very nice.
I was kind of more taking like I have this memory and something that really like stuck with me since our original quest was because we were in beautiful Algonquin Park, exploring the nature with a community was a really interesting and like fulfilling experience that I had, like specifically where we were, not a lot of people had been, and you're kind of all just like mesmerized by your surroundings, but you're doing it together, but also it kind of gives this more like individual standpoint from it, that you're focusing on yourself and your wellness, but you're all doing that together, so there's still this like group and like you're still supporting each other. And it was just a feeling if I've had it before, it hasn't been there for a while. So it was just kind of, it kind of took over my body a little bit. I was like, whoa, this is so cool. And yeah, just like really fulfilling.
Do you sense that feeling and experience of like wellness and community and wilderness together, like, has it helped to steer your attention in the world a little bit?
You good about it? For me, it was coming back to kind of your normal life was like kind of jarring, because I like got so used to being like, well, I wake up and I kind of think and I take the time and things are a bit slower there and you're really focused, and it's kind of like, oh, now you have to go back to your like 9 to 5. But I do kind of catch myself more being aware of my wellness, and like when it's not, maybe I'm not in the best kind of spot to be like, whoa, let's kind of try to slow this down and kind of think about myself and like how I am doing, for me at least.
Yeah, I think it would be a little bit disingenuous to say that you go to liminal learning for a week and then you've just solved this problem.
Mm-hmm.
But leaving it, you definitely have the tools to fend it off more yourself, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Like coming back into my daily life, I will remember things that I've learned or thought or felt in liminal learning, and I'll try to either emulate those feelings or remember those like epiphanies, and it will help.
Mm-hmm. And the digital hub where we've been getting together, I think it's partially with that intention, like we plant the seed in the quest and these sort of practices and this sort of way of framing ourselves in the world. We're trying to sort of remind each other every week, every couple weeks in the digital hub. Have you had any moments in that sort of time after the quest that have been useful?
Well, I did an appreciative inquiry, and it was very nice. I did one about a creative project I was doing, and it reminded me of the creative practice that we did in liminal learning, and it, I think, directly helped what the project became. And it was nice to speak, and we got a chance to practice like good criticism, which is something we also talked about in liminal learning. But seeing not flaws but uncertainties in your own thinking, and then going to community and looking for help and mending those like holes was very nice.
Cool.
I sometimes, which is like the hustle and bustle of life, it was nice to have like once a week you sit down for an hour, kind of. It's almost like a little like, remember this little thing you did, and you're like, oh yes, like I need to like focus a bit more on myself and kind of not go back 100%, because like you said, like that's unrealistic, but it's like a little like reminder to be like, hey, take some time for yourself and
nice.
kind of just still keep that like connection and everything. And like I still like when we like log back in to that, I'm still like, oh, I still remember these people. I know kind of what's going on in their life or these projects and like aspirations they had, and it's like it's fun to see what they are doing with that, even after the quest.
Beautiful. I'm gonna cough. I have to drink some water. That's a nice segue to. I'm wondering if you could think for a moment about someone that you met. It could be a guide or a pioneer, a peer, or one of the adults in the space. Someone that sort of inspired you in some way, gave you some insight, maybe some practice, said something, or just was some kind of inspiration or mentor for you. If you could pull.
I had two that I think really stuck with me. Well, there's a lot of people that stuck with me. Denise was a really big one for me, because she was really into like photography, and she kind of we talked briefly just on like what we like and what we enjoy, and kind of she captured a lot of just what we were doing, even if it wasn't like the best shot in the world. She would just kind of like come over with her camera, take like a couple pictures of like fire, and be like, yeah. And she helped me remember that like you can take pictures and they don't need to be the perfect thing ever, and they still come out really good. Like, I mean, I take some film photos, but I'm always, especially with film, I'm like, oh, it needs to be perfect. And she was taking 3 pictures on film of the same thing, and there was no worry in her mind. Also, I know Robin wasn't a direct liminal learner, but I think he definitely stood with the movement and everything, and he was incredible, and he just like the knowledge, and he inspired me to learn more about the world in just different aspects.
Could you tell people who Robin is? Just briefly,
Robin was kind of a leader at Algonquin Park. He led us on kind of the portage.
Mm-hmm.
And he had so much knowledge. He could like stand in one part of the forest and look around and tell you what every plant and any animal that was around, and what it can, like, how it can help you, and if it's toxic. And he was just a man of knowledge, and his views on the world. He was also a photographer too, which was really kind of neat. He took us to some stars, but he really inspired me kind of to branch out in what I know about the world, and just like keep asking questions and keep learning. So sorry, that was a lot. You go.
I think 2 people that stood out to me were both pioneers, but first was Griffin. I remember speaking with him in like pit stops in the car ride over, and then hearing him play music, and he was such a humble guy, but he was really, really good, and we bonded over a similar favorite bassist that we both had. And then I heard him play, and it was insane. It was like I saw him take like very direct inspiration. It sounded very similar. Somebody who was really, really good, and it was nice. I don't know. I was just really astonished by it. He was very nice to be around. And also Mia. I remember when we spoke in the little breakout groups with Mia. Me and Finn were both very worried about what we were going to do next with our lives, and then Mia said that like, at some point in my life I'd like to be a firefighter, but for right now I'm just like going to ride the wave of uncertainty, and I was really like astonished, and like I wished I could have a little bit more confidence myself to do something like that.
That's great. I remember that moment. I didn't know that it had struck you so much. It's nice to hear. Well, I'll tell you what, my good people, that was wonderful. We're about 10 minutes in here. I think that's probably enough. You feel good? Anything you want to say to say goodbye, or maybe this one? I did have one last time. If you were a young person thinking about liminal learning, right? And they were asking you advice like, should I take it? What do you think? What would you say to 18 or 20-year-old who was thinking about it?
My kind of advice on it is that you need to be in a spot that you are open to trying new things and kind of exploring yourself, because I think we were blessed with a group of people that we walked in and there was no judgment automatically. And that was really nice because it felt like you could connect with people so much, like we connected super quick, and no one was ever like embarrassed to do something or it was just, everyone was so open about trying things, and even if you were like a little bit hesitant, you just like, it was okay to be like, just give me a second and then like maybe I'll go into it. So just kind of making sure that you are in that mindset of trying. But obviously highly recommend. It was so much fun, and I have so many great memories from it.
Yeah, same. I think if you're about to transition in life and you're lost, it's a good place to not get lost, not to get found, but sort of get a map.
Well said. I would like to thank you both very much. That was delightful. Signing off. Wave goodbye.